Welcome back, New School Sensei podcast. I'm your host, Lance Douglas. We got Ken Douglas, the King Conditioning, the Hill Sprint King. I'd love to see us go and do some hill. I don't know if I've actually done a hill in my entire life.
That's terrific.
Over in the west side, I think I've done it. I've done a couple of big mountains and stuff. You know, you go to New Zealand, do one of those great walks, but I'm not running those things at all. You got 15 kilos on the back, you know, but I don't think I've ever actually sprinted a hill.
It sucks. It's horrible. Fair.
And we got Tommy Gunn, Thomas David, one of the AT coaches, one of the top grapplers. In my opinion, I reckon you're probably pound the best grappler in Australia. So we think very highly. How about your mate? Is Josh Saunders? Is that his name?
Yeah. I think I got to make a bit more of an impression first before I get a match like that. I do want to compete against him, but
Do you want to compete against him?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I try.
Yeah, right. He by a lot, doesn't he?
I don't care. I'll fight. I'll go with anyone. But it's just after when I won the belt in Perth, I called him out. But I'm like, I've been out 2 years surgery and get myself back, so I think I've got to make a bit more of a.
He's fairly active. You might have to see him on the grappling industry circuit because he's a blue belt.
So speaking of their fathers of two wanting to get ready for a thing, is their worst nightmare, bro. I was up against him.
If I saw Saunders like across from me, I would instantly pull out. Like, I'm not fighting like that. He's too big.
Yeah, why not? Just go.
Nah, like you fighting the good fight.
You know, there's like two arms, 2 legs, you breathe oxygen. And like behind any stare, like I know you struggle just as bad, like when you get tired and when things, aren't working when you're trying them. So I'm like, you can just take anyone there.
That's a very good mindset, man.
Yeah, you got to like solve the problem, not the person, you know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't matter who's throwing what at you, it's what's being thrown at you, you know what I mean? And you can crack anyone.
I like it. I've got one story. Was it Pampax or was it Vix where I had to verse that guy from Tassie? Shout out if you're listening. And he was a big heavyweight guy jumping. Oh, yeah. It's in the Open and Purple Belt Masters, but he was jumping close guard and he would have been 120, 130. And then the match before, he buckled a guy. Could have jumped in and he buckled him. So I was actually thinking about pulling out, but I did step up. I pulled guard instantly, but that was for me to actually do. I was just proud of myself because I was thinking, man, I can't risk this guy jumping me.
Nah, yeah.
I literally buckled the guy before.
But it's good thinking. Like you went in, you pulled guard, you negated his. And then you go into the match and you're like, okay, he's big, he's strong, but he's just a guy. Like you would have walked out.
I didn't win, but I survived it.
Yeah, but you would have came out thinking like, oh, he's just a guy,
Yeah. I thought that was one of your better matches because the guy outweighed you by like 40, 50 kilos.
Yeah.
And you didn't get injured, you didn't get submitted. You almost swept him. So if it was a no-gi, it might have been a bit close. Yeah, but it was a gi. But let's get into the topic. So that is beautifully. Today we're talking about cornering, like how do you corner your athlete in Jiu-Jitsu? So for us, me and Ken, we got a lot of experience cornering for karate.
Yes.
Probably got over 1,000 matches just cornering. So we've got a lot of experience. Now our students are competing in Jiu-Jitsu. I've got to say it's a totally different animal. It's a lot harder. Karate was easy because you would have the chair. So the actual coaches could sit like mat side and you've got one chair. You've got literally like a clear line of sight. They can actually hear you.
Yeah.
Whereas Jiu-Jitsu, you're on the rail, you're trying to get in the, you got to make space. That's got to make space. And then
you're screaming against his girlfriend who's like screaming over everyone. And then
you've got the official table in your way as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome to get some insights. Good for Ken and I because we need to learn BJJ cornering and then even like MMA cornering as well.
Yeah.
100%.
I love this topic.
Because me and Ken, I think the last comp we did, or maybe the second last one we did at Grappling Industries, I had one of my guys, Jake. I come in late. So that was a big mistake on my part as a coach. I was late. So I come into his match. His dad's in the corner. So stand corner. So I just stand next to him and I see an opportunity. Like Jake's playing guard and the guy's backing up. So my reaction is, okay, let's wrestle up. Jake wrestles up, get heal it. I'm like, oh crap. And so that wasn't bad. Like I come in late. If I was a better coach coming early and saw this guy was running through everyone with front headlock, I probably wouldn't have made that comment. So I think that's a good starting point. Tommy, let's say this is essentially, this episode's for Ken and I, like 100%. Let's become better cornermen for Jiu-Jitsu. For athlete.
I'll try.
So how would you start us off?
I think the biggest thing for cornering your guys is there's got to be like a level of respect. So they've got to trust you. So, the difference of me going in competing, there's probably 6-7 people shouting instructions. Say me as a blue belt, say we'll go back in time. There's probably 6-7 people shouting instructions, and it's like whose voice is always cutting through? Ninos's, Dave Unan, my coach at the time, Pete. They would speak, and I'd listen. Maybe 1 or 2 of my training partners that I used to train with, and I'm sure there's a lot more other voices than that telling me to do things, but they don't cut through. So it's like you're always gonna have your ears tuned up to the people that you respect the most, so you naturally have the best relationship with. So on the flip side, as the coach, if you've got a good relationship with the student and they trust you, either through results you've produced in other students or just through actually rolling you and training with you, like, all right, man, this guy's a real deal. He knows what he's doing. As soon as you say something, they respect it. So even though, Jake got guillotine, you said, hey, wrestle up. He's like,
He did it.
he did it. He's like, so that's like a big tick there. He's like,
But having that, the next 3 matches he did win, and I did do a better job coaching him.
yeah. I mean,
He liked that match because of me, but I feel like,
mistakes are going to happen. Like, it's just how it goes. Like, and honestly, I will say, but the worst feeling is when you make a call out and it's punished. Yeah. That's it.
Let's go.
But no one's immune to that. Like, that's happened to me. That just happens. That just happens. That's just part of it.
Well, the stakes high if you're cornering like an MMA fighter.
Yeah, if you make a call out in an MMA fight and the guy gets knocked out, that'd be pretty grim.
You just taking 5 years off his life.
Yeah, and then you would just never show your face. Oh, I'm just gonna dip out of here. But yeah, first is that respect and relationship. They got a good relationship with you, and they respect you through other, like I said, you're on them or results you produce. Then it's how do you deliver the information, and this is where you gotta know the person. So I got to speak your language. So I can just have my system of speaking, and I can just paint the brush over everyone and be like, this is how I'm going to talk when I corner. If you want to listen, you can. If you're not compatible with it, all right, good, go kick rocks. Like, but the better way of going about it is, I know my student or this guy who's competing, and I know what kind of expressions or what kind of sentences are going to sort of be easier for him to understand. So is this someone who's super aggressive and moves quickly? He doesn't want to sit there and listen to me say, okay, with your left hand, move it down towards the hip, shift your hips up to the side. And he doesn't want to hear that. He wants to hear, take the arm, move quickly. And then he'll just figure it out along the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if I say, if someone else is a bit more technical, then you can give him that longer instruction. So it's just speaking the language of the person that you are cornering. And then I wouldn't say second to that, sort of on par with that, is actually delivering instruction. So not just saying, some people are like masters of cornering without cornering. That makes sense. But they're like, say someone's in an MMA fight, they've taken down, they're against the cage. It's like, oh, you got to work from here. I was like, what? Yeah, if I'm the one who's there, I've been taken down. It's like, I have no intention of being here and getting punched in the head. Like, I'm working from here already. You know what I mean? Like, help me. Like, so give me instructions. Like, yeah. So some people are masters of like, someone's in a bad spot. Like, oh, you got to work. So you're actually delivering good quality instruction. And then, you got to be able to empathize well. So I've got to be looking at, if you're competing, Lance, I've got to be looking at you. Be like, I'm on my back. I'm tired. This guy does feel strong. Okay, what instructions can I give you that are going to make the most sense? If I tell you, throw up an armbar, you're going to feel a bit nervous. Like, this guy's strong. I'm tired. But if I tell you, pin his wrist to your chest, grab his, and then pull his tricep across the center. You start doing that, and then you hear me quickly shout out, all right, throw up an armbar. Or out of instinct, you're going to see the arm come across the center. You're going to start to put things together yourself in your head. And that removes the whole thing of who's in front of you. You're just telling them to tackle the problems. Like we spoke about at the start of this episode, it's how do I get this guy to tackle the problem and forget about his emotions, how he's feeling, who the other guy is, what the other guy may have been doing. If he's winning up to that point, losing, doesn't matter. How do I get him to just tackle the problem? And I think if you can do that, you can make some, you can produce some amazing results. One of my students, when I used to head coach at SAR, shout out to Edward, if you're listening, maybe he is, I don't know. But this kid was like coaching someone with like a remote control. You could just, production, you do it. This kid, he swept through the VIX. He's scoring like 20 points on everyone, 20-0, everyone, subs. Didn't get a point scored on him. Just, and my,
Oh,
sorry?
he's still trying.
He still trains a bit here and there.
Performance has gone way downhill since
but
you.
nah,
It's a star.
he's influenced me here and there. But yeah, when he was
Was it blue belt?
at that comp, he just got his blue belt. I think that was his, or it was just before he got his blue belt. It was one of the two. But he super green, but just, man, unreal.
That must be a cool feeling if you're the student. You just relax and just listen to your coach and just go for it.
Yeah. And it's like that relationship. We always had a good relationship together. So it's like, yeah, you're going into the match, it's 2 versus 1 pretty much. So it's,
Do you think if that guy, if he didn't have you, then he'd be...
no, it'd still be amazing.
He's still good?
Yeah, still be good.
You're just a little bit extra. You're not the whole thing.
Just that little bit, that outside perspective, where if it would have taken you 6 seconds to figure out what to do in the position, now it takes you 1.5 because you got someone else looking on into it. And at the end of the day, if you don't know what to do, even if I give you the instruction, you're not going to do it. So, if I give you the instruction, you do it, I mean, you knew, but it just would have taken you a bit longer to get there. So, yeah.
What's your thoughts on when you're coaching someone in the corner, a little bit of gamesmanship where you're either like saying that the guy's tired or, you got to go. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
The famous, the clip of I can't remember the guy. What's the guy's name? That famous, the orange head coach. That
It was Murad and Sean, wasn't it? Where he's...
Yeah, it was someone like that, wasn't it? It was, wasn't it Sterling? He was telling him to go and then, O'Malley knocked him out.
I can't.
You seen that clip? He's like, Aljo, you gotta go. And then Aljo comes in and then O'Malley just knocks him out. Yeah. But like in general, what's your thoughts? A little bit of, a bit of like mind game.
So Sean's coach yelled that out
To Aljo, and then Aljo got his clinch. Yeah. He's like, Aljo, you gotta go. And then Aljo comes in and O'Malley, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like if you look it up, there's a lot of comments on it. Like, I think the rules in the, I don't know if you can do it in UFC, but yeah.
There should be a rule against that, I feel like.
What's your thoughts on just general sort of like mind game?
That mind game.
Stuff? Yeah.
I'm not good at it. I think it has its place. I'm personally not good at it. Ninos is very good at it. He can say like the right things, and he's not being aggressive to the guy. Like, this guy's doing nothing, but he'll say the right things and you can see it in the other guy's face when he does it. I was like, oh, maybe he's right. But yeah, I think it has a good place. Like, if your boy's got someone in a sub and you're like, and you just shout, whatever you may. Yeah, I think it has its place. Personally, I'm not good at it at all. I just don't. Like,
Do you reckon you'll have to start doing it, or it's not you?
yeah, I think I don't want to experiment while my guy's out there. So I just won't. I won't bother. Like, I don't want to end up in a situation where I try it and then I give the guy a second win because now he's upset at me and he starts smashing my guy. Like,
Lights you up.
yeah. Experiment. I think too deep. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna stay away. I'm just gonna stick to my boy.
So then, like, if you got aspiring coaches, cornermen, do you suggest that they practice in the gym, like actually get some people doing some rounds and you're in the practice being in the corner instead of experimenting on the day in grappling industries, or sometimes has to be done?
Yeah, no, you know what you should do too? Like, as a coach, a lot of the time you're rolling with your guys and training with your guys. You never actually like third person looking at them and telling them what to do, that's huge. It changes the whole game. So, like the MMA boys we got here, the amateurs, I'm wall wrestling with them heaps and showing techniques and everything. That's all well and good. Then they trust me if I say something to the thing, but I've got to make sure that I'm always, whenever I can, getting practice in of looking at them actually do the wall wrestling and talking to them and seeing what are you receptive to, how long do you listen for when I speak? Do you just listen to 1-2 words, or do you want to listen to full-blown instructions? I think people don't pay attention to that when you do have a guy and you are going to corner him or coach him or whatever it may be. It's actually, you need to get reps in.
I like that.
And figure them out that way too.
I think that's actually a good way we can sort of sidestep into actually being in the corner for an MMA fighter. Because one of the things that I really liked about you would have been a path to Hex. And I remember seeing one of the Brace boys was in there. There's, it's 4 of them. I can't remember which one it was. Literally, you've got Sam Greco, like coaching. Then you've got Ninos a few things. You've got you in the corner, and then you've got one of the Brace boys, older, and their dad too. Freaking, is it Zane? No, it's the older one. He's in the crowd. I'm just like, what's going on, bro? But then the cool thing for you is you were so calm. Everyone was really hyped up, and I felt like I was actually learning by like listening to you. Yours was very simple, like build height. Like, it was just like very simple. And I'm like, I'm actually learning.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I thought it was really cool that your coaching cut through when they're like barely. It's like sleep, man. Wow,
It's hard, especially at MMA. Like it's like someone that you love so
the
much.
best choice.
Yeah, boys, it's hard. Like when you got someone that you love and they're fighting. You know what I mean? Then fighting is like in jiu-jitsu, I might break my arm. In MMA, I might die. Like there's a chance, and it's like the emotions are through the roof. But the good thing is, like for the person in there who's fighting, that was the chair on me. The good thing is for the person who's fighting, you're so laser focused.
Yeah.
Again, on not dying. Like the right voices sort of cut through. So when you're in a bit of a situation, you're hearing out for instruction. The first instruction you hear, and that's why I just send out simple instructions like that, like build height, because things like that sort of cut through when you're gassed and you're tired, and someone might be shouting 4, 5, 6 things at once, and then you just hit build height and you're wrecked. You're like, okay, let's just try that and see where we go. And then, get the ball rolling from there.
Is that something where if they're striking, you're just chilling because you got someone like Sam?
That's the best thing about the corner is like it works so perfectly together. And if it's striking, Sammy's there telling what to do. And the whole time, me and Ninos are talking to each other. And
so you guys are sort of like having a chat, like
having a chat.
Trying to think, okay.
I wouldn't even, and I don't want to say having a chat like I'm advising him. Ninos is like a master of the game. He's sort of telling me, he's like, hey, make sure, when we get to this position, you're saying this and doing that. So when it gets to the wall or it gets to the ground, then, Sammy would be like, all right, boys, go. And we all just fully trust each other. And then
that's a bit of a system.
Yeah. As it should be, And in the middle of it too, like, if Sammy's telling one of the boys work the jab, you'll hear the rest of us, when he's not talking every now and then, call out work the jab. Because again, you don't know the guy in there, he just wants to, maybe he didn't hear. And just having that constant reinforcement in different voices.
Getting that transition would be like something you got to probably, that us sort of less experienced or not as good cornermen will get, because it's like if they're standing, you've got your striking coach when they get to the wall, get to the ground, but then at what point do you stop coaching and it's up to the striking coach to start doing it?
Yeah, I think you never. Seamless. It's just seamless. Like if someone's got something to say, like you just trust that they're saying it for a good reason.
Yep.
Like there's no one in there who just wants to talk more than they should.
So all the coaches in the corner should be like in it, that they should be like a unit, like you'll each other
100%.
There's no egos, like someone's trying to like make a name for themselves in the corner.
100%, man, 100%. It's huge. Because I've been in corner situation, I'm not gonna name names, a coaching situation as well, where it's like there's a couple of voices, but we don't hate each other, but we're not really like close or have that relationship with each other, and everyone knows what they're talking about, but nobody sort of knows when to start, when to stop. And it's just a mess. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's just so much better. As much as you want to have a relationship with your student, between all the coaches too.
How do you go with being in multiple corners there? Because obviously if you don't want to part the hex, you would have cornered like 4 guys.
Yeah.
Do you make sure it's all the same corner, or would there be different people in there? And how do you mix all that in and balance it up?
More or less all the same corner, unless there's like a real special reason that there's got to be someone else. But for the more or less, it's all the same corner. But yeah, going back to back is hard.
Draining.
Yeah. And like another sort of thing is, as you get towards the last ones, you got no voice. So he's trying to shout.
Lance got some good sort of vocal warm-ups and stuff for you. Oh, hang on. Yeah, you can do like, or roll your tongue like, brrr.
I'll do that before I get into the venue. They got to see me walking around doing that. Be like, what's this guy doing? But yeah, multiple back to back is, it's tough, but again, it's you got such a relationship with the boys. Like the last Red to Hex we had 4 guys on, I believe, and it just rolled off back to back. I just how to speak the person's language, and they do it. Like by the time we got to the last match, it was Zach Blythe again. Shout out to Zach Blythe, but everyone was tired and drained, and stressed, but you just know how to speak his language. Like as soon as we got in there, talk to him between rounds, you come in, deliver the information, he executes it, they put the guy away, and like, all right, sweet.
He has like 3 or 4 brothers too, yeah?
Yeah.
They
call them the Aussie version of the Brace Boys. It's like the Race Wars.
Wow.
Aussie version of the Liver version.
Something about having a lot of brothers.
They're all
fighting too. Well, me and Lance fought a lot. There was only 2 of us. Imagine it was 4 of us. Yeah, we fought a lot as kids, like proper fights. Like he chipped me to front tag. I remember cracking Ken in the head. He pushed me through a window, all that sort of stuff. Pushed me through a window. Imagine 4 boys in the house. They'd be good fighters. What are you going to be?
The best. You can see.
These days, they'd be more like, on the iPads, but say 10, 20 years ago, they're fighting. You had nothing.
Competing at the dinner table.
Boy,
It was just make your
Everything, mate.
entertainment. And then there's a boy, like, what's more entertaining than just
A lot of play fighting.
shit on? Yeah. It's
do
just,
you have brothers and sisters?
one older brother.
You guys fight a bit?
Shit.
Trey.
He used to. Yeah, he used to. Yeah. He's super physically strong and athletic. Just doesn't train.
He's got other stuff, man.
Fight when you guys were kids.
Oh, yeah, he's got like 6 years on me. Thrash me.
And the whole what age did it take you to finally, take him on?
He's at home by then, isn't he?
I think it was just by the time he stopped training, I was like training heaps. But even still, people always say, "Oh, Tommy, blah, blah, you're doing what?" Like, if this guy trained as much as I did, he'd wrap everyone up. He's super strong, learns quick, just doesn't do it.
There's so many people like that, though.
Yeah, yeah.
If we go back to the point, I actually had a question. So, what are your essential things that you need to have, like actual tools on you, like stopwatch and all that sort of stuff? Like, just say if you go into grappling industries, if you're in someone's corner, what stuff do you like to bring? Physical things.
Just keep time for a jiu-jitsu match.
Super easy.
Yeah, just keep time.
But
And
then for fights, like actual MMA, are you bringing fighting? I've seen with a bucket, they got ice, they got
yeah. So
all the stuff.
when you get there, you'll have you just stock up on ice. So you take ice out there.
Oh, so that they actually have the ice.
They got ice at the
Have yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, you have to do that. You bring a bag of ice, but no, they just got ice.
Speaking about cornerman, you got your best cornerman right here.
Well, I've been shouting about all that.
Yeah, so you have to have your ice. I've seen they put the ice. Do you do that? Put the ice here. They even put them. It's off in the groin. Is there a science behind that?
It's just up to the guy. Like that,
Up to the.
you'd be surprised like how much
What's the ice on the balls?
you put like water in there. You do heaps of shit.
Wait, this is a new talent. They'd have to tell you first.
You'd be surprised like yeah, like how much conversation. Yeah, it's a surprise. You look like this activity.
Weird, like you said. Yeah.
Like how much of that gets spoken about just before the fight in the back.
Okay.
Some of the backroom conversation, like you'd be like, okay, do you want to stand? Do you want to sit? You want some ice on the back?
Yeah.
Here. Do you want me to like put water in your hair? Like, what do you want?
Get slapped. I've seen fighters like to get slapped.
Yeah, and it's just how you're feeling on the day. Some people like to switch it up every day. Like for me personally, I'd rather just have the same thing every day, no matter what. But yeah, just some guys want different stuff. But anyway, so if I'm going in, obviously you need the ice, have a towel, have a cold press.
What's a cold press?
Just basically a piece of metal.
Oh, I've seen them, so they're pushing down.
Yeah, if you're just pushing it. So it's like, if someone gets swollen here, you're just pushing it out of the way of the eye.
Respect.
Vaz, you go like hardcore and bring adrenaline, just in case they get cut. You just put adrenaline over the cut. But that's like, yeah, I think like an amateur, it's probably not super. If you get cut that bad, they're probably just going to stop the fight. But yeah, just have all that shit with you. I think in the UFC now, you can't do that. They have the cut man coming.
Yeah, probably.
You just
Oh,
have
okay.
you just have the bare.
So you're doing two jobs. You're doing a cut man and the cornerman.
Yeah, no, like so we got Sammy. We got Sammy for that. Is he just Sam Greco's on top of that with that?
There's a few different items you need.
Yeah. You just got a bit of everything. Their water, their mouth guard, all that stuff.
Do you guys keep track of the time, or do you just wait for that clack?
Yeah,
You guys are like, you guys know exactly where you're at.
we time it. Yeah, we just got it there, and just we prop the phone up so all three can see like how much time is left. Yeah. And then that's something you speak about with the guy too. Like you'll say, hey, do you want me to tell you every minute that goes by? Do you want to just hear nothing until 20 seconds left?
Yeah.
Everyone's got their preference.
What's the obviously you've been to a lot of events, like MMA events. What's some of the worst things you've seen other people doing? I'd love to hear this. Like you're just sitting back like, this is horrible. I feel badly. I'm gonna jump over and help this guy out.
Worst thing, I think the worst, hands down worst thing in the corner I've seen is when they all go silent.
Oh,
Like the guy's getting just pieced up, smashed, and then you just sort of dart your eyes to the corner and they're just staring at him. I'm like, oh
that's
man,
bad. You're almost throwing in your white towel.
it's hard, man. But look, sometimes it's just difficult. Sometimes you know your guy and they're just getting pieced up, and you're like, what can I say? Like I just know it's yeah.
Are you
Like,
preparing
you can
mentally for that, like, things you could say, like, if my guy's going down, like, these are a couple of little cues I can give him?
Yeah, if you worked with him a little bit, you can. If one of the boys I'm super close with, hope never, but ever gets in that situation, like I know there's certain things I can say that
Talk about.
you can just try and give them that second win, get them back into it.
and roll out.
Yeah, but
If you could take got kids, think about your kids. Was that too? Would that?
if it just depends. If that's something that they want to hear, that's something that gets them going. Just whatever it may be.
Fighters, that's the main motivation.
Yep.
Yeah. Having like fighting your kid, you're fighting for money.
Whatever it may be. Like there's no wrong answer. It's just what the guy likes and what makes him produce results. But yeah, and if it's someone who's like green and you see him getting hurt, or if someone just threw up a triangle choke on him and it's across, what can you say? Like, you're gonna have to, like, you know what I mean? So it's tough. But that's I wouldn't say like I've seen like cornering that's like bad. I'm like, oh, what are they doing? They don't know what they're doing, because it's hard. You can't really. It's hard to tell because you don't know how they know that fighter. But you can just tell when there's bad instruction. Yeah, like again, where it's like, A, you're just going silent the whole fight. You don't know what's going on. Or B, it's like I said in that example before, the guy's taken down against the cage, like, oh, you got to work from here. Like, what does that mean?
Of course, I'm trying.
Yeah, like I don't want to get punched in the head. I don't want to be face down in the canvas.
That's me, bro.
Yeah, help me, please. So yeah,
You've probably seen some corners like after a match. They're not, they're very negative on their fight. Have you seen that?
yeah.
Like they're just too harsh. Like they've just copped a beating and they're copping like another throw or another beating. And they
You grab the history, like some of the dads on their kids. I was thinking, oh, all right, this kid's 8 years old. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say that's probably the worst you'll see of it in jiu-jitsu. It's so bad, man. Like, and that's part of having that good relationship and having that empathy. It's like, all right, this guy won or lost. Obviously, if they win, my emotions are up. If they lose, my emotions are down. It's like, I've got to speak to you, and like you got to hear what you want to hear. Like, I can't just blurt out what I'm feeling. And I think that's what a lot of people do. The guy will come to the back room, whether they won or lost, and you just blurt out what you're feeling. So if they lost, they'd be like, oh man, this is like, have a bit of empathy on the guy. Like, just put yourself in that perspective. They've lost, they come back, just
get out of the corner and jump in, mate.
give them a simple instruction. Be like, if one of the guys lost, be like, listen, man, just process it, whatever. Chat to me if you want. Like, do you want to break down the fight? Or do you want to do it after? You want to speak tomorrow? Like, whatever. Like, nothing you're going to do right now is going to change it. So just, just
some people need that space, yeah?
Yeah. So, and then they'll come to you. They're like, no, like, what happened? Or if they win, like, I'm not going to sit there and shake him and be like, wow, he did so good and he did this and this and this. It's like, let him enjoy the win. Yeah. And then, and when they want to speak about it, they'll speak about it.
Is there anything like, would you in the corner with the other coaches talk about at all when to throw in a towel? Like, or is that's just, you're not thinking about it? Or
I don't,
do any athletes say, like, if it's going bad, just let me, like, almost die, I guess? Or
no, we never have that, like, in the back.
Have you ever thrown a towel in to the cage? Like, if it's a 5-round match, like, you tell your fighter, mate,
no, I think
round, if you don't give me anything, I'm throwing this thing in. Because you're literally losing 2 years of your life every round. You're put it in here.
That'd be hard. That would probably be a conversation that you would have, like, between a round. Like, hey, you got to...
Like, coaches will be talking, like, we're seeing a lot of, this is bad.
No, like, you come in for the minute rest, you're like, look, man, you got to work or they're going to stop it. Like, you just, you know what I mean? But for you, in the back, you're never saying things like that. Sure. I'd never be like, hey, if you're getting...
That's a big final. You haven't been on the pot.
Go down to round 2. Nah, if we're in the back, I'll never be like...
Have you ever had to throw the towel in on... No, yet?
No, never. No. Like, it
is super rare. That I don't think... You do sometimes see it, but you more see the fighter quit on the stool.
MMA...
It's very rare to see a coach throw the towel in, yeah?
Yeah, MMA is hard to beat.
It, or...
Yeah, because...
the fighter will just quit.
It's like, if you're standing... Like, because MMA's got the stand-up, the grappling, like, the fights get stopped a lot earlier. In boxing, if you get cracked, you get an 8 count, come back up, and you got to take a bit more damage. And usually, like, in that's where the towel gets thrown in.
Yeah.
In MMA, you go down the first time, like, they're stopping, that's it, the fight's done. Whereas MMA, like, in boxing, if the guy doesn't want to be there and sort of timid, he gets cracked and dropped, they got to bring it back up, and then you're not going to say no during the 8 count, all right? You're back out for the fight, and then if the corner's looking at him, he's like, all right, this guy's just checked out, throwing the towel. Whereas you don't really ever get to that point in MMA, because if you're getting pieced up, you're probably going to drop at some point, and then they're just going to stop the fight.
And the fighter will quit, they turn their back, give a coke or something.
Yeah, so rare to see someone just take standing damage non-stop, that the left right stop, and then so yeah, to get the tail thrown in, it's like I've never seen it. I saw it once, but it wasn't.
On part the hacksaw like it.
I think it was a demolition. I was just watching a stream. The guy was getting like smashed, and then he's the coach through the tail in. That's the only time I've seen.
Maybe if they got a pre-existing injury coming in
with that too, yeah, walking in with something, and yeah.
Fair enough. I think I think we'll wrap it up there. Good finish. And it's out bit grim, but yeah. No, that was good. We learned a lot. Something, yeah, Ken and I, we just need to get more experience. And like I said, it all starts with that relationship, you know, the athlete actually trusting you. And then obviously being skilled at observing and calling out like good instruction. Not just saying, you know, let's work.
Yeah. And something I'll add on to that before we wrap it up is, so good instruction can be specific, like do this with your limb. But good instruction can also be give them a general idea to work on. So like we spoke about before, where we said, you know, if you're backed up against a cage, all right, build hip height. So let them figure out what to do with their hands and feet. But you just want to see the hip height come up, because you know if they do that, they're going to put themselves in a better working space. And you can say that for jiu-jitsu too. It's like, you know, if there's someone trying to pass the guard, it's like, okay, let's not cut through the guard. Let's outside pass. So keep your feet and try and pass around towards his head. So I've just given you a basic blueprint, and then I trust you enough to sort of put that together in your own way. If you need specific instruction from there, I'll give it to you, rather than telling you, all right, left, up, there. So yeah, sometimes throwing out concepts to the guys does bear a lot of fruit.
There you go, case by case. Let's wrap it up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, shoot us a message. Tommy Diab, can you plug your socials? If the guys want to hit you up.
Tommy Gunn MMA is my personal page, / where I just post if I post up instructionals, but Calibre Coaching, CALIBRE coaching. Yeah, if you want to get in shape and just watch me mess around on my reels. I try and post serious stuff, but I post a lot of, I don't know, just me messing around. So if you like that sort of stuff, then yeah.
Bang. See you guys next time.
Thank yous.
Yeah.